Hello everybody and welcome once again to Casual Gamer Oz as we continue our career mode on F1 2017 in the first season, round 16, Japan at Suzuka circuit. Ben Waterworth is my name, Ben Waterworth is the driver's name, and we're driving for Toro Rosso. We're into another wet qualifying, sadly. We're at Suzuka, as I just mentioned, but let's have a look at what happened in Malaysia. Difficult qualifying. I was on wet tyres on a drying track, 18th position on the grid, and binned it on the first lap, spun out overtaking Lance Stroll, and ended up finishing dead last 20th, but I finished, which was my very first time finishing in Sepang. So here in Japan, my best ever finish is 17th back in my first season on 2016, and my highest qualifying is 14th, and I feel as though we're not going to get that today. So we've obviously had a bit of a crack at Suzuka already in one of the invitational events on the Suzuka short mode. That was in an F2002. And we know they've upgraded the track slightly into this section here. There's more, I guess, rises in the track, sort of the undulations of the circuit. It feels a lot nicer to drive, I have to say, but I'm not really getting a huge feel of it, obviously, here on a wet track. Although the grip levels on these inters are a lot better than those full wets in Malaysia in the last time around. So Vettel is making a late charge in the championship here when it comes to game mode. So I would like to see him on pole position again to get that mode up. 19 points, I believe, the championship. Because at least in Casual Gamer Oz world, Lewis Hamilton won both championships on F1 2016, which means in real life he would have won the last 4 world championships. Meaning that in this world, if he wins it, there'll be 5 in a row, and it'll take him up to 6 world championships in real life. So there you go. There's a bit of a statistic for you Lewis Hamilton fans watching us today. So far, we've remained on circuit. That's, of course, so far. We're struggling down in 18th place at the moment. I'm probably going to, I reckon, change engines for this one and go with a fresher engine for the high-speed nature here on Suzuka, particularly if it's a dry race. And at the moment, still 18th. They want us to finish in the top 15, which is not going to happen, it seems, at the moment. Unless a miracle can happen coming up into the final section of the circuit, which it's not, because I'm going to get it all out of shape coming into that bit. I've moved up a place, so into 17th, but I've promptly dropped back down to 18th. Hamilton will be on pole position. We will be in 18th position. So, disappointing consecutive Grand Prix in 18th, but I guess the positive to come from that is we are not last. Let's hope for a dry Suzuka. Let's see if we can get a dry Suzuka by moving on now. And let's do it now. Oh, we need to get to 450 R&D points, by the way, in order to fix that part that failed leading into Sepang. So that's just a bit of an update in terms of there, which we should hopefully get a good race finish here in Suzuka. We should hopefully be able to get enough there. I guess our goal really for the rest of this season is to finish ahead of Perez. We want to finish 8th in the championship. We're currently sitting in 8th, but Perez is equal with us, I think, the last time we checked. I'm going to lose another rivalry here, and no teams want me at the moment. That hurts my feelings. It really hurts my feelings. We're going to have a wet race. So I don't think we're going to change our engine. I think we might just keep it. Let's just have a bit of a squeeze here. So what are we on? 10%, 8%, 8%, 8%, 5%. See, there's no real... I mean, you're not really feeling it, are we? Because, again, 5-lap races, just nothing seems to be coming out of it there. All right, we're just going to go to the race. And we'll just try our very, very best here to make up. So our highest ever finish in Japan is a 17th place in Season 1 of F1 2016. So a D and F in the last time around, in our second season there. And those both races, of course, are Sauber. So let's see if we can do here. Not hugely confident on a wet track, but we'll take a bit of a gander here at the grid. Of course, we're going to have Hamilton on pole. We know that. Raikkonen up there in second. Will surely move forward to let his teammate through. 19 points this championship battle at the moment. Vettel third, Bottas fourth. We know 5th and 6th is going to be Ricciardo and Verstappen. Of course it is. Then we're going to have Massa. We're going to have Grosjean. We're going to have Hulkenberg, Perez, followed by Magnussen, Palmer, Sainz and Ocon, Alonso, Stroll, Van Dorn, myself, Verline, Ericsson, of course, they're at the back. Alright, let's give it a crack, Suzuka. Let's see how we do. Our final leg of the Asian round. except for, I guess, Abu Dhabi's technically Asia. Let's do this. We've got Stroll in front of us. We have got the lights out. And again, a very long time there, Charlie whining on the button there. We've got a very racy car behind me. And a Sauber is going to take, which is going to make us tricky here into turn 1. I'm going to clip a Sauber. I'm going to make Verline spin off. Sorry, Pascal. Did not mean to do that. I'm getting a penalty. My first penalty since Albert Park. Fair enough, but I kind of had nowhere to go in that instance, stewards. But yeah, go fuck yourself. All right, we're going to have to struggle through the remainder of this one with a penalty and a damaged front wing. As you do, we've got a dueling Stroll and Alonso for the second Grand Prix in a row right in front of us. This car is an absolute piece of crap to steer into this opening section. We've got wet track, we've got a damaged front wing. Things could possibly not go any worse for us, at least at this stage. I'm going to run myself wide here, and I've got a car on the left of me. I don't know who it is, but I'm going to go into this deep. I'm going to hit the gravel. I'm going to spin. No, I'm not. And it's going to shove me right into the path of Pascal Verline, and now I am dead last. We're going to go up here into the hairpin. I can barely steer that car, and I'm going to come across here to cut across Ericsson, the boy band millionaire, as, oh, geez, I'm getting out-dragged here by a Sauber. I cannot keep this car on the track. Oh, thought I was in the wall there for sure. And this car is impossible to steer. There is a Sauber spinning off behind me. That is Verline. This is a disastrous Grand Prix for us here. Well, we know at least with that 2-second penalty with Verline in the wall behind us, well, I think like he's got going again. If we can just maintain this, we at least will have 19. So we're going to finish in the top 17. I would pit if this is a Sauber and they wanted me to finish in the top 19, then probably it would make sense for me to pit, because I'm assuming that Verline will have to pit too. Hamilton is leading this Grand Prix right now. I am just struggling as I try and get a little bit stupid into the final chicane. They want me to pit. I'm going to say fuck you, I'm not going to pit. As we come now the main straight. Is Verline pitting behind us? I think he might be. He looks like he's going very slow in that final section. Oh my lord, this car. The understeer. Now look at the damage here on the track. Now, as I told you in F1 2016, if you run over damage, you risk getting punctures. I don't know how that works in a 5-lap race, because obviously they can't bring out a safety car to really clear that up. So I'm going to have to be cautious into this section, as it's not like I'm not limping around here, as you can see, because this car is impossible to steer. Oh my lord, it feels terrible. And sadly, we're just having a string of bad results currently. All these Asian rounds from Singapore onwards, we have just struggled after the highs of Italy. So we've just not had a very good Asian leg of the championship. We obviously move to North and South America next and finish it off in the Middle East. But generally my North American races I do pretty well at, having previously finished on the podium 2 occasions in both Mexico and the US. So we'll see how that plays out. Of course, that was F1 2016. If you're wondering, well, this says Season 1 on F1 2017. Of course, on Casual Gamer Oz, we do have available, I did 2 career seasons on F1 2016 for you to get into the zone of my style, I guess, and that was in a Sauber. I won a couple of races, actually, but 9th in the championship was my best, 97 points. That was in my second season, and oh lord, into 130R, I've just gone straight off. And it's almost worth retiring the car just to save the engine, but again, it doesn't really matter too much. I've got enough engines to play with, having finished last year. They want me to come into the pits again. Well, again, Jeffrey, I say go fuck yourself, bro. Verline is 1.5 miles behind me. I mean, I could, I guess, just to, you know, I'm not catching the car in front of me, but I don't want to have a bad pit stop, and I've got to keep this at least a 2-second gap. And I severely doubt, highly doubt, that Verline is going to catch up to me enough within 2 seconds. I'm slowly getting used to the steering on this Sauber. How bad is my front wing? It is, non-existent. I think I've lost it. I will say the damage in terms of the front wing is a lot better this time around. It was a lot easier to kind of get used to it in F1 2016, whereas this time around it does make it a little bit more tricky. I'm only on lap 3. I thought I was on lap 4. Gee, this is dragging out here. It's whoa. going to be nowhere near. Who's ahead of us? Ericsson. Well, slight positive. We won't be last. You know, always got to look at the bright side of life, right? That's the old saying. And again, we're just getting a bit of a feel for the car and the conditions. Obviously, it'd be a bit different if we were fighting for some points here. And the main part is that we can finish as many races as we want to, because that can be the ultimate goal in our technically our rookie season here on F1 2017. Raikkonen with the fastest lap right now. Come on, Ferrari. At least do something good for me in this Grand Prix and go after Lewis Hamilton. Alright. How are we going to take 130R this time around? We are going to go straight off. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't have to hit the brakes there. I was going to go straight in the wall there if I didn't brake. Surprised they haven't given me a warning for cutting the circuit. They often do that sometimes. It's just a bit silly if you go wide. Costs you more time than it does gaining it, yet they still think it's a warning. Still not going to pit. We haven't pitted yet in F1 2017, have we? I don't realise there's like a manual pit limiter and all that sort of jazz, which I assume I've got off because, again, Casual Gamer Oz, we don't do the whole simulation goodness. Oh, I'm going to run over the wing there. That's my own wing, I think. But, again, this threat of damage and a puncture, well, hasn't materialised at the moment. Having said that, it could just sneak up on me. It's one thing I think that the earlier Codemasters ones, I remember like in F1 2010, you would just randomly get a puncture. And you never seem to get that in sort of the later ones. Which I guess, you know, is a positive and a negative at the same time for the realism side of things. You know, remember at least in F1 Career Championship Edition, sorry, for PS3, you know, cars you'd have blowed engines, and you would even be able to have, you know, engine issues and things like that. Whereas I was watching another YouTube channel here with F1 2017 on like a 25% race, and even when they sort of had a severely damaged gearbox or a turbo, like nothing blew, which you know, I found very interesting. I realise in modern F1 it's very rare for there to be actual engine failures, but it still would be interesting. Hamilton setting the fastest lap, so he's getting on with it. Looks like he's going to increase his lead over Vettel in the championship, and by the looks of things, I think if Raikkonen's second, it's interesting. I realise it's a game, and you know, probably the game's not that smart enough that they should move aside, but obviously in real life you'd know that Raikkonen would move aside to let Vettel through for the championship. As we're going to break early this time into 130R and try and keep it on the circuit. We do. Clever move there, Benjamin. Come into the final section here. Just slide it around. And for the last, the penultimate time, we are going to cross the line here for one more lap of Suzuka. And this disastrous Japanese Grand Prix. Cross that line now. As we now, for the last time, at least in this season, void that front wing. Whoa! And now I've got a puncture, I think. I have a puncture. Well, there you go. I have a puncture. I spoke too soon last time around saying that I wouldn't get a puncture, but I've run over that debris. And that's what Codemasters promise. They promise punctures. Now I've got to somehow keep 27 second gap on Verline, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do that because I'm at the beginning of the lap. This is disastrous. I will finish dead last. Because even if I can't get 27 seconds, he's only got to get 25 seconds on me, of course. Because at the end of the day, I've got a 2-second penalty for hitting him earlier on. Can you see that? There's my puncture. Look at it. It's flailing all over the place. I have a puncture, and wow, there you go. That's awesome. I'm going to say that's awesome, the fact that you do run over that debris. Hamilton's won the Grand Prix, meanwhile. Look at that tyre. Let's go out of that view. Look at that flailing all over the place. Verline is going to eat me for breakfast anytime soon, as I don't even pay attention to the race. I'm looking at my circuit map. I'm going to hit the wall. Oh, I've nearly taken my wheel off. I'm going to spin here. I did not do that deliberately, folks, but watch out for Pascal Verline. He's about to come out behind me. There he is. I will finish this race in dead last. You try driving a car with no front wing and a puncture. Come on, Pascal, go through. I'll move off the circuit for you. There you go. Thank you, bro. Whoa, and I've spun myself out. I'm going to get lapped by Lewis Hamilton, who's already won this Grand Prix. This is terrible. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible way to end. Suzuka, whoa, hold on to it and just drifting around that corner. Can we at least finish this race without getting lapped? Let's try that. Not that I would get lapped technically. The race is over. But yeah, this is you know, it'd be really cool is if the wheel would the tire would actually leave your car. Whoa. Like, you know, as it would in sort of real life. Now, I'm going to get caught up here by Hamilton on his warm down lap. I'm just going to cut the chicane here. No reason to take it. I'm going to get a penalty for that. No, I just get a bland warning. Now, I should really pit, but I'm going to cross the line here. Well, disappointing. But at least finish the race. That's something. Thank you, Jeff. So 20th place, disappointing. 2 back-to-back last places, and there you go, folks. There you go. That is Japan. Small positive again that we finished, and sadly, Mercedes also win the race. Ferrari got second, third. Yeah, Raikkonen did move over for Vettel. So that's very interesting. I want to see the opening of this race just to see how I got caught out, I guess, when it came to the little incidents with the salvage. You can see Verline all over my rear wing. Just as it was Ericsson, because he was behind me. As we come now into the opening part, I'm going to clip. Oh, yeah, that's easily my fault. Sorry, Pascal. I'm just getting bummed left, right, and centre, and my front wing is just completely gone. Shoved wide there. I'm just going to have this little ding-dong battle. I'm just hit into Van Dorn, who's put his hand up. Said, what the hell are you doing, bro? And, yeah, this racing, obviously not the best in terms of no front wing. And, yeah, we'll stay with this until the hairpin, I think. As we come through there, Van Dorn's all over the back of me. There he is. He's going to come around me here. I think I run wide here from memory, do I not? Oh, majorly so. Into the gravel, avoid all salvers, and just wheel to wheel with Verline, who puts his hand up and says, what are you doing? Now we're going to come up here into the hairpin. What happened here? I can't seem to remember. And I have just taken, well, I at least got around him, but then just banged into him. I just like banging into Saubers, it seems. Anyway, so Hamilton, Raikkonen, Vettel, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Massa, Grosjean. So Perez gets the point, so he's going to move ahead of me in the championship. We can see that right now. Yeah, there he is. So 1 point ahead of me there. I've got to catch some ground up in the North American leg. Hamilton, Vettel, Raikkonen. So it's 29 points, by the way, in that championship. Bottas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Massa, Perez, myself, and Grosjean. Constructors-wise, well, we lose more ground to Force India, but Mercedes leading by 11 points. Red Bull, Williams, Force India, Haas in 7th, Renault 8th, McLaren still with the 2 points, and Sauber they're in 10th place. That's Suzuka, that's Japan. We're off to the US next. We might have an invitational race. We'll see how that goes. But thank you for tuning in to Casual Gamer Oz. A disappointing Asian leg comes to a close. Let's hope that we can make some ground up in North America. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.